Welcome CSC103 to our 5B pixel coding exercise. In coursework, it's down here, and this is a picture of the finished product of what you'll do when you're finished. And it says there's an older video in the playlist currently, but I'm recording the newer video, so hopefully this will be up to date. This is fall 2020. And what you can do here is go right to this link. There's also a main link to introcomputing.org, but I'll go to here. And even if I take off this URL, I'll just show you something here. If I go here and take off the URL from the image 2 exercises, and I just go to the regular introcomputing.org, this is the exercise. It's called image 2 code. So if you came here, you could find it. And it's down here. Now, the only reason I'm saying to come here is go to the browser test page and just hit run. And you should see a baby with green. You might get a message saying to run it again. So run it a couple times if you don't see it. And what's actually happening here with this baby image, it's actually running some code. Now, we're not going to do code quite this complex. Ours will be simpler. But what it's actually doing, it's saying if the Y pixels, meaning going down, are less than 20, it means pixels 1 through 20 going down. If they're less than 20, it's saying take the pixel and set the red to 0, the green to 255, and the blue to 0. That means it's going to be green. And it's setting all those pixels less than 20 to green. That's what it's doing there. So that's a little kind of sample. And a couple things. Notice there's a baby called Abby, and I guess that's Abby there. And it says print image, which is printing out the image here. So those are just a couple things, and this is what we're doing to pixels. We're going to do something with pixels just to go over RGB a little bit. It won't be very hard. It won't require a lot of memorization, a lot of coding. It'll be real simple. So anyway, I'm going to go back to my opening page, and I'll go to image 2. That's where the first link went to. So I'll go here in case you see some of this stuff. I'm not sure what's with this site. Sometimes you see these things here, and sometimes you don't. So it's okay if you don't, because this one has some things done. Sometimes you go and it won't have anything done. You won't see these things in green, and you won't see these things here. But what I'm going to do, depending on what you see here when you go down here, I'm going to go to the one that says setRed example. And if you don't see this, you could go to any one. And I'll just go to this one right now. So I'm going to go to the one that says setRed. And again, it doesn't matter which one you go to. And again, this green stuff, sometimes it's helpful, sometimes it's not. But I'm going to hit run here. And you're seeing this. And you might not see that at all. You might not see that red thing. That's because there's a line of code here. And let me just get rid of that in case you're not seeing that, in case you're just seeing something like this. And let me just show you what's here just so you understand. There's a variable called image. And the image is basically a name for this image over here, which the original image is called x.png. It's a PNG file. Now, the original size of it is really small. It's only 10 pixels by 10 pixels. Now, these pixels are really big. Each one is a pixel, so they're gigantic, but it's actually at 20 times the size. If I put this at actual size and I went here and put it to 1, where it says image.setZoom, it's a little command that's happening to image, and I run it, that's what the original image looks like. That's how big it is. That's 10 pixels by 10 pixels. But if you tried to change the color on that, it wouldn't be very impressive looking at it. So we're looking at it like 20 times the size. If you did it 10 times the size, it would look like that. If you did it 30 times the size, it would look like that. And, you know, you can make it bigger if you want to make it 25. That's fine. You can put whatever you want. And there it is a little bigger. Actually, I get used to hitting my enter key, but you should always hit run. There it is at 25 times the size. So it's pretty big there. So these are just pixels. So there's actually 10 across. It starts at 0. So the horizontal pixels go 0 to 9. And the vertical pixels start here at 0, 0 and go down to 9. So on this coordinates here, they start at 0, 0 and go across. They start at 0, 0 and go down. So if I went over to here, this is probably 1, 2, 3. It's probably 0, 1, 2, and then it's 0, 1, 2. This would be pixel 2, 2. So just even though they show the corner, if I went to pixel 2, 2, let me get pixel 2, 2. I'll put 2, 2 in here. And if I wanted to change it from white to red, I can go here and do pixel because they have a variable representing the pixel. So I'm going to say, okay, pixel. It's saying get pixel at 2, 2, and that's this one. And if I want to say, okay, pixel, they have a thing here, .setRed. And if you don't see that, I'm going to tell you to do it right now, and it'll be on your notes. We're going to do pixel set red, and obviously if it's going to be another color, you would use another color. So I'm going to do set red, and I'm going to put it at 255. Now, on this example, since I'm doing this one, it's not going to change it, because if I run it, it doesn't look any different. That's because if the red's at 255 and it's white, that means the other ones are at 255. So that means I'd have to set the other ones down to black. So I'd have to make the green, remember we always go in order, red, green, blue, RGB. I'll make the green 0, and then I'll make the blue 0. Now that'll send them down to nothing, and the only light that'll be on with our RGB is going to be red. Now if I run it, that turns red. Now if I wanted to turn 0, 0 red, I'll just change this for a second. I don't need those other ones being down to 0 because the green and blue, this pixel at 0, 0, everything's down to 0. Right now, all the colors are at 0, 0, 0. So then if I just say set red at 255 and I run it, it'll do that because all the other ones are down already. So it's only when you're using white pixels do you have to turn the other ones down. If you're turning a black pixel to a color, the other colors are already down. You only have to put the one up. So I'm only putting the red up. And remember, when you put red and green together, do you remember what color they make? If you put red and green all the way up and blue's down, there's no blue in it, it makes yellow, which is not like paint. That's why it's called additive. All right, anyway, what we're going to do here for our little exercise is we're going to make the center here, and let me look at my image here. We're going to do a red, yellow, blue, and then a gray, or something else. You could do something else if you want. But I'll start with the primary colors, and maybe I'll do a purple or something over here. We just have to identify where they are. So that's all we have to do here with the code. So writing code's pretty easy. We just have to use image get pixel, and then we have to say what pixel it is. And then we're doing one pixel at a time. So we're not doing 0, 0. If we're going to start this one, I'm going to go over here, and I have to count over. And this isn't that hard to count. It's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So these are at pixel 4, 4. And it's 1, 2, 3, 4. And remember, it starts at 0. So it's going to go 0, 1, 2, 3, and then that's 4. So this is pixel 4, 4. So I'll put in pixel 4, 4 in here. Now, we should identify the pixel. I should do something like this so we know which one it is. You don't have to, because I think as long as you're targeting the right pixel, it'll still work, even if you just leave the name pixel for all of them. But I think it's better to go upper left, like to just do underscore. Now, you can't put a space here. Don't do this. Don't put a space. Make sure you do underscore UL, so I know that's UL. And then this one is going to be UL. That way I'm being very specific about this. So I'm saying get pixel 4, 4, and set my red to 255. Now, this one is white. That means I have to turn the blue and green down. So, because if I do it right now, let me run it. Doesn't do anything because it just set the red to 255, which it was already. I just have to put the other ones down. Matter of fact, I wouldn't even have to set the red. I could just put the other ones down, but I'll do that just because it'll make more sense. So I'll copy this. I'm just highlighting Command V or Control V. If you're on Windows, do Control V. If you're on Mac, do Command V. And then just hit a return and paste, and then make this one. Always go in order of green and blue. I'll make this green. And if you spell green wrong, it's not going to work. So make sure you spell these right. And they should be caps here. It's not a lowercase, it's caps. So I'm going to put this one down to 0. I'm going to copy this one, put it again, put that down to 0, and make this blue with a capital B. Now when I run it, I got red. So that's easy. And now all I have to do is copy this 1, 2, 3 more times. We'll do it 3 more times, and we'll put space in between so it's easy to see. Now you just have to know where the numbers are. If you know that that one is down, if it's down at 4, 4, you know this one is going to be down 4, 5, and the X is going to be 5. And it always does the X first, so that would be 5, 4. It would be over 5 and down 4. It would be 5, 4. They always put the X and Y. My second one here, and if you can't see things, you can make this bigger. You could scroll down a little. So this one I'm going to call it upper right because I'm doing the one to the right of it. Now again, it's not upper right in the whole image. It's just upper right in that little area that we're doing here. So it's just the upper right here. And I'm going to make this one yellow. So I already showed you how to make yellow. It's going to be green at 255 and then blue at 0. So that'll make a yellow by just copying those. So I only had to change that. But I have to update the pixel. So it's 5 across. It's always X first and then the 4 down. And I renamed all these. These should all be the same because I'm identifying the pixel and then I'm applying a color. So now when I run it, I should get a yellow one over there. Now you see this is pretty easy. This won't take long at all. Then I'll just do one more. Well, not one more, 2 more, but I'll do this one. And this will be lower left, or I'll do lower right. I'll go around in clockwise. I'll do the clockwise one down here. So that'll be lower right. So put LR. And I'll change these all to LR. And that one, I think I make blue. So if I put this at blue at 255, I just have to put the others down to nothing. So there's only blue there. And it's not going to be 5, 4. It's actually going to be, it's still going to be 5, but it's going to be down 5. So instead of 5, 4, this one will be 5, 5. And the last one will be 4, 5. It'll be over 4, down 5, because it always goes in XY. So let's see how this one works out. And there's my blue. And for my last one, you can make it any color. If you remember, if you make them all the same, they'll be gray. So if I went here and I changed the variable name and I called this lower left, LL, for all 4 of these, the identifier and then the color changer command that's saying, hey, pixel, set yourself red. If I wanted, I don't know, maybe like a purple, I'll make this maybe midway. Maybe I'll make red 128 and blue 128 and see what that looks like. And there it's a purple, except I didn't change this. So this should be 4, 5. So that's not permanent. That'll just change when I rerun the code. So I'll make sure it's over 4, down 5. So let me run it. And there's my purple. And that looks pretty nice. If I want it lighter, I could go higher on the colors. I could go, you know, from 128, it's like in the middle. And the further you go down, the darker it's going to be. So if you want a darker, you could do like 1550. It'll be a real dark one. And if you want it lighter, I can maybe do, remember, it goes up to 255. So if I went up to like 180, I'll put that at 180. And I'll put my blue at 180. And I run it. There's a lighter purple. So that's fine. And if you did them all the same, maybe you did them all at 128, it would be a middle gray. If you want to do any others, do some others. Do these outside ones. You know, you could do this one and that one. You could, you know, if you like doing this, keep doing them. But then when you're done, if you've had enough, if you've done these in the middle and you've had enough, I've had enough coding for one day, they don't have a way to save this in here. But one thing you could do is you could just copy all this code. Now, one thing to keep in mind, if you accidentally get rid of print image, if I'll just cut this out of here right now, and you run it, you can't see the image. That's one thing that has to be in here. You have to print the image. That's part of the code. So if you ever don't see anything, it has to say print image. That's what displays it on the page. So don't mess up that thing or don't lose that thing. So make sure you have print image. Don't accidentally delete that. You need print image there. I'll put it back and there it is. So that looks really nice. And you don't even have to send me your image. So you don't have to make a screenshot or use the snipping tool or anything. All you have to do is just highlight all your code. And you could highlight code like this too. If you put your cursor in here, click in here anywhere with your cursor, and if you're on a Mac, Command A, if you're on Windows, do Control A, that means select all. I'll select all and then copy. And if you're on Windows, Control C, if you're on a Mac, Command C. And then I'll copy all that code. I'll go back here, I'll click on the assignment, and just like we were doing, we're just gonna add a comment, and you don't have to do any links or anything here. You just have to go in here and just paste it. That's it. Because then what I could do is just highlight it, paste it in the thing, and check it out. Or I could probably even look at your code and see if I see any errors or anything like that. But that's all you have to do is just put the code in here. You don't have to put the image in here unless you want to. I mean, you could if you're really proud of your image. You know, you're like, wow, I really want to show off my image. You know, you could go here and either with the snipping tool. If I'm on a Mac, I could go Shift Command 4 and take a little screenshot of that thing and save it. Now it saves on a Mac, it saves up here so you could drag it into stuff, but it's going into my screenshots folder or on my desktop. I have a screenshots folder on my desktop. But if I go back here, if I go back to my Warren, now this is, you don't have to do this. This is only if you really wanted to do that. I could edit this and just go after here and add an insert image and go find it. And you got to go through this thing. You got to upload. I have to go to desktop, screenshots. I have to scroll down to the bottom of my screenshots and look for it. And that's not it. That's not it. There it is. And I'll hit open and then I'll hit insert. And it's saying like 626, but I don't need it that big. I'll do it like 200 or something. I'll do it like 200 and I'll hit OK. And there it is. There it is down there. And look, I put that in there too. So that's cool too. So if you want to put it in, you could take a little screenshot and put it in. You don't have to. You could just put in your code. Or if you just wanted to do that and show the image, I'll give you the choice. You could do either. You could either put your image in there by using this insert image or just paste your code in there. Whatever you want to do. That's exercise 5B. It's under Unit 3. You just have to save it and that's it.